Hi, I'm Amy, and my student number is 20334404, and this is my presentation on the respiratory system for assessment one. First, I will just start with a demonstration of my model. This is my model. In the model, we can see that we have a torso, and then we have a clear cup for the ribs. There's two balloons in there to signify the lungs, and then we have this balloon down here for the diaphragm. I will just show you how it works. If we pull down the diaphragm, we can see that the balloons inflate and they go back down again. I'll show you the back as well, just so we can see that there is a tube that goes into the back of the cups, and that our tube there has two holes in it to signify the nasal cavity. Right, so how it works, first it is important to note how the model doesn't work. The model doesn't require blowing into the straws, as that is not how we breathe. Rather, the model works because of the diaphragm and how the diaphragm makes room for the lungs to expand and contract while they are in our bodies. So you can see again there that they inflate when I pull the diaphragm down. What it does, the model does the following. It demonstrates the basic breathing mechanics, which is just how air comes into the lungs and how the diaphragm makes room for our lungs, and then serves as a visual aid for the anatomy of the lungs, as it does show the basic the two lungs, the diaphragm and the trachea. The model has two main moving parts, and those are obviously the lungs and then the diaphragm as well. As one moves, the other does as well. Next will be the concepts that are part of this model. So the concepts, one of them would be gas exchange, which is the process where oxygen is taken through the body and carbon dioxide is removed. This happens in the alveoli. Another concept would be oxygen transport, where the oxygen is absorbed into the bloodstream and carried to the body cells. Another one is how the systems work together. In this, there are two systems that work together for the lungs. That'd be the respiratory system and circulatory system. So the respiratory system works with the circulatory system to deliver oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. And it is also important to note, if one of these systems aren't working, the other one will also be affected. Another concept would also be homeostasis, as the respiratory system helps maintain the correct balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body by regulating the levels. The main organs and their functions. So the respiratory system is made up of quite a few of main organs, some of them being the nose and the nasal cavity. So that is how we take in the oxygen. The trachea, where the oxygen flows down so it can enter our lungs. The bronchi are like branches inside the lungs themselves. Our alveoli are like the little trees, and the diaphragm. The systems working together. The respiratory, circulatory, and digestive systems all work together to coordinate survival. The respiratory system brings in oxygen, the digestive system breaks down food, and then the circulatory system carries oxygen and nutrients to all parts of the body. All these systems working together help every part of the body grow and thrive. The learning experiences. So purpose of the model, the purpose of the lung model is to help students understand how the respiratory system works, in that you can see how the lungs inflate and go back down while you are moving the diaphragm. It shows how the air moves in and out of the lungs. And it also, another purpose was to show students how the diaphragm works, as it is quite a hard concept, that there is a moving part in your body that helps make extra room for your lungs. And then it also shows how the lungs and the diaphragm works together, as if there was only one, not the other, we wouldn't be able to breathe. The outcomes covered would be ST3 SCI-01, as it talks about how the body systems coordinate for survival. It would also cover ST3 DT-01, as it talks about designing the process and exploring opportunities to develop situation solutions. And then ST3 CWT-01, as it goes into understanding technological concepts. What learning will take place? Students will learn specific concepts like how the respiratory system works. They will develop scientific language about the body systems, like specifically like the trachea and the alveoli, instead of just generalized words. Students will explore how breathing works through their model. They will question and investigate as they come up with their own scientific questions when they pose them. Students will learn how to correctly label diagrams of the respiratory system. And students will also learn how to observe, predict, and explain through developing their inquiry skills. Pedagogical strategies. So explicit teaching. The teacher will explicitly explain the key terms and concepts. Inquiry-based learning. The teacher will pose scientific questions to encourage the students to investigate their answers, and so they can also pose their own questions. And then hands-on learning. Teacher and the students will make models to demonstrate how the body systems work, so it's easier to grasp those concepts. Links to other KLAs. It links to EN3 Recom 01, as it talks about comprehending technical language. Again, that's like the trachea and the nose cavity, stuff like that. And then also links to VAS 3.2, as it's talking about making artworks for different audiences and for different purposes. Health and safety considerations would be latex allergies, as we do use stri balloons, and it would obviously be very important for kids that have latex allergies to not come in contact with any of the balloons. And then quite obvious scissor safety, because the model does require some cutting of the cardboard and the balloons and the top of the cup. So the health and safety issue there would be someone accidentally cutting themselves. The end. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.